Hi, this is Sandy Hibbert, and welcome to The Insiders on Real Estate and Marketing, our 6th episode. And here's my co-host, Mr. Troy Olson, and we're here to talk to you today about life after COVID, or let's say real estate after COVID. How's it working for you? What are you doing to push yourself past this huge hurdle that we've had placed in front of us? So it's going to be some good discussion. I hope that you'll hang out with us for these 30 minutes and see what you can learn about marketing and real estate. Troy, how's it going?
Good. Good to be back in here.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, thank you so much. And you too, my favorite suit.
Thank you.
Blue's good on you.
It's a rental. Got to have it back at 1:30. So, no, it's good.
Yeah.
I think we all knew this was coming. You know.
Well, I think you said it a couple of months ago in one of our episodes that May's going to suck, and May sucked. Now here we are in a new month, and the whole world, I think, is pretending that this thing is over, but it's not. I mean, we're seeing here in Dallas, our numbers have been going up, which has been, really worrisome for me. But life goes on. Business goes on. People are still buying houses. They still need to buy homes. It's just a different environment, So I know that a lot of my clients, a lot of realtors out there, especially realtors that are getting started, that don't have, really deep networks to choose from and referrals and things like that, are really scrambling. What do you do right now? How do we get past this hurdle to continue on with all of our businesses, marketing businesses included?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all in the industry wish that we were out of the woods, and we got to stay positive. The media is starting to talk about second waves and second shutdowns, and the numbers are still showing that. And I think too, depending on everybody's situation is different, but for this past week, I had a very close friend who had a family member that tested positive, and back when this hit in March, a former team member's relative tested positive. That's when it really hits you that, not that I didn't think it was real, but the closer to home it hits, the more real it is, at least for me.
No, absolutely.
So, but I mean, yeah, we knew May was going to be a little bit uneasy because opening things back up in multiple phases. Some people are a little bit more eager to get out there than others, and whether it was first, second, or third phase. But, we'll talk about this later in the show, but I feel like everything that maybe didn't go on as normal with some clients in March, April, May, the first 2 weeks of June, it's like everybody needs it and wants it right now.
Now, exactly.
So, yeah, it's like I'm scared to pull the phone out here in a little bit to go, what's burning.
Yeah, people want to blow up,
yes.
but we're still scared.
Yeah, it's toe in the water for right now until we, again, we with what was going to happen Memorial Day weekend, people are going to be out and about and on beaches, and as things start to open back up, more people are around each other, and maybe, again, I'm seeing a lot less masks, a lot less gloves. I'm seeing that on showing instructions for listings. I used to see it every single one. That's been, let up a little bit.
Well, how do you feel about that? I mean, is that safe?
I mean, everybody's situation, like I said, is different. Everybody's comfort level is different. It depends on, do they have, and again, there's this myth that it can only affect really young children and elderly people. People that I know that tested positive are between, 20 and 50. That's not an infant, and that's not elderly.
Me
so
too.
It can happen, at any age. It's just, how does that person, of course, react to that? And I'm not here to diagnose anybody, but...
No, but I think it's important that realtors during this time stay safe, and even if they have a more relaxed attitude toward it, I think it's important to provide that safety for your clients, because you're dealing with a plethora of people in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex from all walks of life, from all diversities. So you don't know who or what that person's been through that's calling you about a showing or coming into that open house.
Yeah.
They need to feel secure.
Yeah, and again, you have to show your client and the other realtor and the seller of that home, the respect that I'm aware of the situation, and I will honor the leave all interior doors open, leave
Right.
all interior lights on. Really, the only thing that, we need to be touching in that house is the front door, when we go in. But, we're still using, hand sanitizer and fist bumping. We're not shaking hands and hugging and doing all
Right.
the things that, we did before.
I think that's important.
Although Andy Tuttle did hug me out in the out in the lobby
And he shook my hand,
earlier.
too.
So, and I think Gabe tried to shake my hand too. So,
Oh, well, that's okay. I mean, I'm going to go wash, but
Don't
before
say
I
I
go
didn't-
home, for sure.
Andy Tuttle, don't say I never gave you a plug.
So, I mean, I know that you haven't been resting on your laurels. I hear that you contracted over $2 million in properties last week.
Yeah.
What the heck? I mean, how are you doing this?
Well, again, it was 3 months worth of everybody needing something right now. And, I had a buyer that was finally comfortable traveling in from out of state.
Okay.
And they're moving here for work. And, they definitely, they were careful. The young kids stayed in the car, and I went in with dad, and then mom would come in for second showing. So that was one. Put a listing on the market in West Frisco and Wakeland High School, and I don't even think it was 24 hours. The first person, it was, we got to have this house. So it is we're starting to see multiple offers, lots of showings. And again, as a realtor, we would have loved to spread the wealth out, but that wasn't realistic,
Right.
over March, April, May. So everybody is scrambling right now. I was on a Zoom call with a group of agents in my market center yesterday, and one of the agents was telling us that there was a listing in Carrollton in the 250, 275 range. She had like 53 offers on it, which is, I never even heard of that. That was
unreal.
That's unreal. That's 2020, right? Not coming out of COVID, because we're still in it. But I don't even remember stuff like that happening in 2016 and 17 when things were really humming. So that just shows that, again, we had a buyer, we made an offer on a multifamily in Denton. There were 10 offers on it, and
Well, inventory is still low.
extremely low.
So that's the deal. I mean, I'm going to make a prediction here. I think that we're going to see a boom in business maybe over the next 30 to 45 days. And during that time, you're going to see multiple offers. You're going to see scrambling of people trying to get the work done. But as soon as that phase hits and goes down, I think it's going to be quiet again, because people are feeling a sense of confidence right now because it's summer. Not that I think that matters when it comes to COVID, but there's that mentality. It's summer, let's do this quick, kids are out of school. So I bet we're going to see a surge in the business here in the next 45 days. So how can agents handle those multiple offers? I mean, on buying strategies, Troy, how are you doing that?
Well, so, the whole saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, or this thing is a marathon, it's not a sprint. No, it's a sprint, and it's a sprint right now, because we're not going to have 12 months of selling real estate in 2020. As you saw, yes, people were still buying houses March, April, May, but the numbers were down significantly. I think on our morning huddle yesterday, we talked about, was it April, 30% or something like that, listings were down, in April, naturally.
Yeah.
So, and again, we don't know what's going to happen, with schools. Summer's always busy because it's sell the house and let's buy the next house, whether we're, upsizing or downsizing before school starts. September gets a little bit slow after Labor Day. But now, because it's such a sprint, we may be doing, majority of our business in a 6-month window. I mean, January and February for me we're good. March, April, May, slow, and now it's June, July, and August, based on the pipeline that's set up, looks to be, incredible.
Wait a minute, I got to stop you there, because that's a key point here for our listeners, the pipeline that you had set up. So you didn't go huddle in your living room after we found out we had to stay home for a while?
No, I mean, I've said this publicly and privately and every other way. If I would have known what I know, yeah, I would have taken some time to stop and breathe. But I think I was, nervous like everybody else, and frantic, and we all have bills and goals, and we're all, competitive. Naturally, we're in sales, and we don't have salaries, so it's, survival of the fittest, feast or famine. But no, I didn't take a day off, not any day, and that's why I feel I was able to salvage every single deal that I had in escrow closed.
That's
now,
amazing.
a lot of that is because of the lenders that I work with, the title companies I work with, being able to, fight nice with the other realtor on the other end of the transaction to get to the ultimate goal. Because if a deal falls apart, everybody loses. So, I was very
So you
fortunate.
kept plugging. You kept plugging.
Had to.
Yeah.
You had to.
Yeah.
And now, also, we did we use AM cards as one of our methods, to touch our sphere of influence. And, we sent out the card, but we also sent out, a Starbucks gift card. And it was basically it's a digitally, handwritten note, but it goes out and it's a Starbucks gift card that I included. And the note says something like, here's an opportunity for you to get out of the house and go get a cup of coffee or whatever you drink at Starbucks.
Or drive through and get a cup of
drive through and get a Starbucks.
Right.
Just to, have
that's good.
30 minutes of let's get out of the house, let's get off Zoom, let's get away from the kids, and let's get out of our pajamas or our home office or living room or, wherever we were working. So I just stayed, extremely engaged with that. Another thing obviously is, just because COVID-19 hit didn't mean people don't have to pay their property tax or they don't get their tax assessment. And this year was a little bit different. In Collin County, it was you got 30 days from the date of the letter to, file a dispute or protest, whatever you want to call it. So that was another touch. So I was very, intentional about my touches during that, 75-day process. So when things opened up a little bit and buyers and sellers were more comfortable and confident to go out and start this, we were ready to attack, and we're absolutely on the offense right now.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that brings me to what I was wanting to mention today, and that is living in your list. I think that it's so important that, first of all, that you have a list. Everybody meets people. Everybody in the real estate business. You meet people, maybe you've met less people recently, but you have a list of past clients, of past referrals, of people that you know that have had life events that could create an opportunity for you to sell a home. Then you meet the people, you get your cards. Where are you keeping your database? Your database is your gold, and finding that gold, discovering that gold, and living in it, to me, is the secret to all business, whether you're in my shoes or whether you are in your shoes. So living in it, meaning that you're going to look for opportunities to touch this group that's in your list, this A part, the A list, the B list, the C people. How are you going to do it? Who's going to get the videos? Who's going to get the Starbucks card? Yep. Did you send your Starbucks card out to everybody on your list? That could get expensive.
Yeah, it was expensive, and we didn't give it to everybody. And this isn't even a real estate comment. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. We're all selling something.
Absolutely.
And the question is, what's the best CRM? The one that you're going to use. But
Exactly.
when people say they don't have a database, pull out your iPhones or your Androids and go, how many contacts are in here?
Yeah.
There's gold in there. And
I have known people, excuse me for interrupting you, but I've known people who've used nothing but an Excel
Which is fine.
spreadsheet. As long as those names are somewhere that you can use, and I always insist with my clients, make sure that it's in a program that's uploadable to your email client, because that's the next thing that you need to be taking care of. But yeah, an Excel spreadsheet. You don't have to be a wizard in account management to handle that.
It's very simple. It's who, how are you going to touch them? What are you going to touch them with?
Yeah.
And when are you going to touch them? We've got the 4th of July coming up in 2 weeks. As much as we've talked about 2020
That's
just
crazy.
sucks. 4th of July is like 2 weeks away. So we've got our 4th of July, pop by. We're building them this week. We will we'll deliver them in person, next week. Yes, there will be Troy Olson team custom labeled hand sanitizer in there, which that's a product that is never going to go away. There's always going to be, a need for it. We see it in offices and model homes, the touchless ones. So we're excited to get out there in 2 weeks again with another touch.
Absolutely. And it brings it brings it back around to the fact that you have to get up and go to work.
Yeah, this isn't Christmas vacation.
This is not Christmas vacation. And you know what, Troy, you and I know so well that even in the best of times, there are realtors who struggle with getting up and having the discipline to put on their game face, get dressed, be professional first thing in the morning. It's the entrepreneur's curse, is the freedom that we have to be able to do whatever we want to do and then do our business. But I find that success, whether you're in my kind of business, your kind of business, or his kind of business, it's about getting up and working.
Well, and two things that I've seen, it used to be, you'd say, get up and suit up. And the other day we were on a Zoom with somebody and it was get up and boot up. And, they were country. I think I have a pair of cowboy boots. They're only one
I know
on
you
the,
do.
on the ranch, but I like to get up and boot up because it's Texas.
Oh, I do too. I mean, and as a girl, if I get up and just roll into my office with my jammies on and my hair's all messy and I'm, barely have my coffee, there's a difference in my motivation and my productivity than when I get up, get dressed, put some red lipstick on, get my coffee, flip my hair up and put on something cute, and then I feel sexy, I feel ready to hit it, I feel like I'm approachable, I feel like I can do anything. It's amazing what a little bit of red lipstick does.
Well, and we've talked about this over the past, 5 episodes. Since COVID-19 at the Dallas Preston Road Market Center, we do an 8:30 a.m. huddle. So, Tommy and Teresa Flood, our wonderful team leaders, have been very intentional about
That's
this.
awesome.
And, at the beginning, it's like you start seeing people like they wouldn't show their face, a lot of baseball caps, no makeup. And then now you're starting to see kind of less of that. People are, getting up, suiting up.
It's so good for your mindset.
Well, again, I read an article, I think it was in an Inman or Dallas Business Journal. They talked about this. People who get up at 5 o'clock, this is the car they drive. And people who get up at 7 o'clock, this is the car they drive. And people who get up at 9 o'clock,
right,
this is the car they drive. And I don't remember, the only car that I remember, I think it was a Tesla that they were promoting at, the CEO that gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning. This is, how he or she go to work. So I thought that was,
Absolutely.
I thought that was very interesting. But you talked about, agents not getting back fully into the swing. You can kind of tell when you're working a deal on the other end. It's like the emails come through at 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I'm responding at whatever.
Or they don't come through.
Well, that too. But I'm responding at maybe
problem.
8:45 or 9 in the morning after, the market center huddle, the regional huddle. And then, the emails come back again at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So I'm like, okay, this guy or gal is they're on the 1 a.m., 1 p.m.
Right.
shift. Well, we're on more of that 8 to 8 shift. So.
And, as a marketer, I can tell you that it depends on the person. It's not really about the hours that you're going to work. If you're my kind of a person, I'm not going to work 8 to 7. I'm sorry. I'm not going to. I am a late night person, so I get my day started a little bit later, but I work it. So, my 8-hour shift may be from 10 to whenever, or noon to 8, or 2 to 3 in the morning. But I'm working it, and I'm smart enough, experienced enough in my business to know when I need to be on, when I need to be available for clients, and I think that's really important. And it's also something that you learn when you have a niche.
It's a discipline.
It is.
Again,
and you
it doesn't
learn
matter
your
when
market.
you get it done, get it done.
That's right. You learn your market. You learn what that market requires for you. You learn and understand your audience, the demographic, what kind of people they are, and you have to mold kind of the way you work your business in that game plan. I think realtors can be real guilty of just throwing their stuff out to this gigantic metroplex of millions of people and hoping that something is going to stick or whatever. And I think that the more you can bring in and gather in your people to a niche or a specialty area that you can service, it's going to be a lot better for you.
Well, and being creative. On the way in, we were talking about, open houses. Obviously, when I say they're starting to happen, they've been happening, for a couple of weeks. And, I've had showings scheduled during when open houses, have occurred, and we've had a couple since then. But yeah, it's a different setup. There's hand sanitizer there. Again, lights are on, doors are open. Traffic is starting, to pick up on them. And I think by you doing those as an agent, you're showing the seller, hey, I'm all in. help. Like,
Yeah.
I'll do what it takes to maximize the exposure, of your property, because you just don't know, like, who is coming out there and who's not. So, like anything else, if you're going to do it, do it.
Right.
What else has been going on since call it June 1st? So, like, in a real estate perspective, and others might be different, but the month of June has been nuts, and we're 17, 18 days into it. But clients of yours, like I said, I had a referral for you this week. Are that stuff kind
Thank
of
you
coming
for
back
that.
around? You're welcome. Mark's a good guy. And,
Yeah.
like I said,
we've been scrambling to get together
Sure.
because everybody's kind of crazy right now.
Yeah, and we're not back at full capacity with that, but every 2 weeks the numbers get better and better and better,
Right,
and
of
we're
course.
expecting a great turnout in July for that. So
Things that are happening at Sandy Hibbard Creative, the hottest things right now, first of all, I'm trying to get my clients to utilize their list. So emails, newsletters, any opportunity that we can create to reach out and touch their people. I think that the drip is good. If you got a listing and you've got cold leads, and the drip should be something that's going on in the background. But what a lot of agents forget are purposed content, purpose branded content that can go out to your A list or your whole list, depending upon how you've groomed your list. And what I mean by that is creating email blasts that are informational. It's giving them content that they can consume, and they're going to keep it. They're going to remember you for it. They're going to be educated and be better for that information that you're sending them. And I've often said to my clients, and this is something that we're doing this month with a couple of my clients, is doing postcard mailers via email. So basically they're fun, pops of color, pops of information, very urban styled, and like living in the city kind of thing. And it's not really real estate oriented, but it's everything about real estate because it's to the homeowner, and it's about summer, and it's about activities, it's about water activities. We did a great post that went out via newsletter, social media, and an email blast on summer fun tips for kids, or water tips, I think is what it was. And it was a great article. We put together super graphics that showed things that you can do in your home with the kids if you don't have a pool, if you have a pool. How, where do you get the slippery slide thing? How do you play with sprinklers safely with children? It's basic information like that, but a mom who's in her new home out in Frisco that's got 3 little ones running around is going to find that information very valuable. And if it comes from Troy, and you sold her that house a couple of years ago, she's going to open it and remember you and respond to that. So emails to that list, huge right now this month.
Last Thursday, I was invited on a marketing Zoom from Ashley at Alamo Title at the Star, and great resource. And what they were talking about from exposure perspective, which was, we all know that YouTube is continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. What I found interesting with this statistic was, Zillow views were down 20%, but YouTube views were up 20%. So it was literally, so again, we have to do better, at my team, of recording, more YouTube videos. We have 2 that
and get your virtual tours on your YouTube. That's huge.
We have 2 videos actually are being posted today. One of them for a listing in Light Farms that it's been on the market 11 days, and then one of them that we activated today on Veracruz in East Plano. So every single listing, we're going to do a whole lot more work specifically, with YouTube. And it's
YouTube's
a lot of fun.
huge.
It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's like, oh, I don't know how I look, or I don't know how I sound, and the camera's following me. Have fun with it. Like
who
I
cares?
said, that's how you get market share. And we're going to continue to build our YouTube subscribers.
Right.
But the more content that you record and post, the better chance that you have to be seen,
Absolutely.
to be heard, to be to grow your business.
Absolutely. Another thing that we're doing right now, we talked about the Instagram ads last month, which if you haven't listened to that podcast, check it out, episode 5. I give some secrets on Instagram advertising. So we're doing that where we're not just doing one ad for a client, we're doing up to 15 so that it gives them a better reach and a better chance to see more eyes. But we're also doing Facebook ads for just solds. So it's kind of a new twist of the typical just sold direct mail campaign. We're putting that in a postcard form and sending that out as an ad on Facebook and the other social media channels, as well as through the email blast. And I can't say enough, and Troy, you know this, consistency is the key here. If I get a one-off, I pay no attention to that. So it's about making a commitment to do a campaign. And if that's an email campaign, a Facebook ad campaign, an Instagram ad campaign, a video campaign, whatever you choose, it's going to work if you're consistent.
Yeah, nothing's going to work one time.
It doesn't.
Again, you can't. It's not a big enough sample size to determine. Okay, I spent X money, it didn't work, so you just quit. You got to do it several times before you can really gauge.
Absolutely. Another thing, Troy, that we're doing for our clients right now is the rush to get their websites up and going. A lot of agents have older websites. They've realized through COVID that everyone is online. And guys, that isn't going to change. We have made things convenient online, and we are not going to take that convenience away. So people are going online, they're looking for houses on YouTube, they're searching Facebook to find you because they lost your card. You have got to have a presence online, and you've got to have a presence with a good website. So I've had several of our clients have been scrambling, coming to us saying, we need an update. We're 5 years old. Links aren't working any longer, so we're doing a lot of website management, even more than website builds, but website management I think is really important, and we've talked about that. Just make sure you do a little triage on your website and make sure it's working.
Make sure it's current.
Absolutely.
So in wrapping up, takeaways, what are you taking away today?
Taking away, okay, my first takeaway is live in your list. Get a list together. Your list is your gold. I think that we have way too many old clients, especially if you're in real estate.
We're hanging on to them.
But they forget who you are if you're not living in that list. So, Troy, you're the best example I can give of this. I think you're wonderful at it, and so I think that number one is live in your list. Find ways to touch those people in that list, and it will be a variety of ways. You're not going to touch everyone in your list the same way. So be diversified in that. My second takeaway is going to be choose a niche. Make sure that you are specializing in something. Make sure that you are focusing on an area, on a neighborhood, on a particular group, because that's going to help you. Even if you're focusing on relocation, which is super broad, but still that is a focus. You want to have a focus in a niche that helps you craft very targeted content. It makes that much easier when you can do it like that. And then I think the thing we talked about, my third takeaway, is put on your working face. Go to work. How about you?
To add to your list, Brian Ruffini in his Referral Maker CRM, he makes it very simple. A, B's, and C's, and you delete your D's. So if you get your database out, rank them. A is they're going to refer you just because you're you. B is they would if you were in front of them a little bit more often. And then the C's, how do you get the C's? Forget trying to get the C to an A. Let's get the C to a B first.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got to be in front of them, a little bit more often. So I wanted to add that about the list. As far as takeaway for me, you better rest up, eat healthy, and hydrate, because we're in the middle, of a 100-degree Texas sprint that we don't know how long it's going to last. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 2 months. But like I said, it is game on right now, and hopefully everybody's on board with doing it.
I hope so too. Well, like you said, game on.
Yep.
Get out there and hit it, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
See you next month.
We'll see you next month.
Bye.